Good evening, Oman News live from the news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headline. The Sultanate celebrates the first day of the blessed Eid alAdha. The pilgrims continue performing Hajj rituals. And the Yemeni separatist movement says they are ready for peace talks after clashes with pro-government forces killed dozens in second city Aden. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us, and Eid Mubarak. The Sultanate celebrates today the first day of the blessed Eid al-Adha. Worshippers performed Eid prayer in all governorates and wilayas of the Sultanate. They prayed to Allah the Almighty to return this blessed occasion on His Majesty Sultan Qaboos and the Omani people, and to endow His Majesty with good health and a long life. His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, performed Eid al-Adha prayers at Al-Khor Mosque in Muscat this morning. His Highness was accompanied during the Eid prayers by a number of their Highnesses, members of the royal family, their excellencies, the ministers, advisors and senior personalities. Honorable Sheikh Dr. Ishaq bin Ahmed Al Busaidi, Chairman of the Supreme Court and Vice Chairman of the Supreme Council for Judiciary, led the prayers. He began the Eid ceremony by glorifying and thanking the Almighty for His bounties and blessings. The sermon talked about the need of the Islamic nation to hold on to noble characters and be the role model that reflects tolerance, honesty and guidance. In the end of the ceremony, His Honorable Sheikh requested Allah Almighty to protect the homeland and to preserve His Majesty the Sultan, and to endow him with good health, happiness and long life. His Excellency Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of the FAR, performed this morning Eid al-Adha prayers at Sultan Qaboos Mosque in Salalah. His Excellency was accompanied by a number of their excellencies and officials, as well as sheikhs and other dignitaries of the governorate of the FAR, and a gathering of citizens and expatriates. Yasir bin Ali al-Khatiri al-Kathiri, Imam and preacher of Sultan Qaboos Mosque in Salalah, led the prayers. In this sermon, he focused on a number of meanings and lessons of cooperation and mercy between Muslims. He appealed to Allah to safeguard His Majesty Sultan Qaboos and endow him with good health, happiness, and to return such happy occasions with good omen and blessings on His Majesty. The Sultanate celebrates a happy Eid al-Adha today. Oman has unique, distinctive aspects during Eid days. The Eid is prevailed here by smiles on the faces of children and the grown-ups alike. Here is a report. Celebration of Eid al-Adha, Oman has unique, distinctive aspect during Eid days. The Eid is prevailed here by smiles on the faces of children and the grown-ups alike. Eid celebration features are numerous in the Sultanate. It starts with purchases of Eid in an event called Eid Habta, which is held for a few days before the advent of Eid al-Adha throughout the Sultanate, where people buy livestock, Omani halwa, clothes and other needed items. During the first day of Eid, people put their best attire, greeting family members and neighbors with feeling of solidarity, love and closeness. People gather to have meals especially prepared for the occasion, topped by arsiya, Omani halwa and other many local dishes. On the first day of Tashriq, pilgrims continued to throw pebbles at the smaller and the medium and the bigger stones in the symbolic stoning of the devil ritual. They will continue performing Hajj rituals by staying in Mina, supplicating Almighty and thanking His gracious blessings. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin. The FAR, the optimal tourism destination to spend your Eid vacation. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The head of Yemen separatist movement said he was ready to take part in Saudi brokered peace talks after clashes with pro-government forces killed dozens in second city Aden. Southern Transitional Council leader Aidarus Az-Zubaydi also said that he was committed to a ceasefire in Aden, where the separatists have seized the presidential palace and army camps. Both the Yemeni government and separatists said they backed Riyadh's call for dialogue and a suspension of the fighting, which threatened to deepen the country's humanitarian crisis. The country is in the grip of a humanitarian crisis because of the raging conflict, according to the United Nations, which estimates that almost 80% of Yemen's 24.1 million are in need of assistance. South Yemen was an independent state until 1990. Strong resentment remains among southerners towards northerners who they accuse of imposing national unification by force. South Korea today put Japan into its own new exports category as President Moon Jae-in called Tokyo's latest measures very serious, intensifying a trade war between the two neighbors and U.S. allies. The move came after Seoul announced earlier this month it would remove Tokyo from its list of trusted trading partners, reciprocating an identical decision by Japan. That followed Tokyo's imposition of tough restrictions on exports crucial to tech titans such as Samsung, following a series of South Korean court ruling ordering Japanese firms to pay for forced labor during World War II. The dispute has raised concern over the potential implications for their security cooperation in the face of North Korean missiles test and the possible impact on global supply chains. The death toll from Typhoon Lakima in eastern China rose to 44 people today, according to official data, as the storm continued up the coast, racking up billions of dollars in economic losses and widely disrupting travel. Typhoon Lakima, China's ninth typhoon this year, made landfall early on Saturday in Xinjiang, with winds gusting up to 187 kilometers per hour. The center of the storm has since traveled north through Shandong and off the coast. More than 180,000 people were evacuated in the province, adding to an early evacuation of roughly 1 million people in Xinjiang and Jiangsu provinces, as well as the financial hub of Shanghai. The latest update for Shandong brings the total estimated economic toll of the storm to around $2.55 billion in China. More than 3,200 flights had been cancelled, but some suspensions on high-speed railway lines had been lifted. Indian authorities have moved around 1 million people into emergency camps in recent days as the death toll from monsoon floods jumped today to at least 184. The southern state of Kerala, a tourist haven known for its beaches, hill resort and backwaters, has been the worst hit region for the second consecutive year, forcing the closure of the Kochi International Airport for 3 days last week. A police spokesman said at least 76 people have died, 58 are missing, and another 32 have received injuries. Around 288,000 people across the state's worst affected districts, including Wayanad, Malappuram, and Kozhikode, have been moved to relief camps last year. Kerala was hit by its worst floods in almost a century, with around 450 people killed. At least 42 people have also lost their lives in neighboring Karnataka state, which has seen some of its worst flooding of recent years. Many key highways and roads across the affected regions have been damaged or cut off by rising waters. Unlike summer season in many of the Arab countries, the Governorate of the Far is blessed with exceptional mild cold weather and the vast green landscapes, inviting tourists and families to spend their Eid vacation there. Tourists can find themselves rotating between going to the festival, visiting historical sites and museums, or simply enjoying an outing with their families and friends. Tourists can enjoy the local food or buy frankincense and handmade souvenirs from the traditional souk in Salalah. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the most of the governorates with chances of low clouds and foglet at night and early morning over the coast of Arabian Sea. Clear to partly cloudy skies with chances of intermittent drizzle are expected over the governorate of Dhofar. Winds will be southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be moderate with a maximum wave height of 2 meters. More details on your screen. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate celebrates today the first day of the blessed Eid al-Adha. The pilgrims continue performing Hajj rituals. And the Yemeni separatist movement says they are ready for peace talks after clashes with pro-government forces killed dozens in second city Aden. And with that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and studios, it's good night and Eid Mubarak.